And welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we have a really delicious and simple dessert recipe for you. At the end of peach season, we're doing this amazing peach dessert with some basil and cheese and some blackberries. Now before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone that we have an affiliate link with Chef's Temp. If you need a kitchen thermometer or meat probe, please check out the link in the description below and use code LOVEYOURFOOD on checkout for 15% off your order. And now here's our ingredients. So we've got these beautiful fresh Ontario peaches, some fresh local blackberries as well, a little bit of maple syrup, a little bit of lemon juice, some fresh basil from our garden, and some ricotta cheese. So we're going to start by getting the ricotta cheese. Now, the ricotta cheese we got is actually sheep ricotta, and it was a little drier than we were expecting. So you can see here when we broke it up and crumbled it up, it was actually really quite dry. So in order to sort of make it creamier, you'll see what we did. We did have to sort of adulterate it a little bit to make it a little more creamy. But before that, we're going to start by seasoning things up. So we're going to take a little bit of salt in there. And also in goes the lemon juice and the maple syrup. And that's the basis of our flavoring for this recipe. And we're going to mix those all together and make sort of because this is a quite dry ricotta, a very dry, crumbly mixture of those ingredients together. And you just want to mash them all together until they're well combined like this. Now we're looking for something a little creamier than this. You could also, you could use something like mascarpone for this as well. We are going to add a little bit of very creamy yogurt to this, just to make it a little creamier. Now this recipe is sort of based on one we've had in a restaurant where they used Italian Straciatella, which is a creamier cheese, which if you can get your hands on is great. We were having a hard time finding some that was locally produced, so we just used this ricotta for it. So once we've got everything combined, you see that yogurt really made everything super, super smooth and much creamier. So that's just about perfect. So now we've got everything in there combined. We're going to cover this, and this is just going to go and sit in the fridge for a little while, let all those flavors come together. So you've got the sweetness from the maple syrup and that tartness from the lemon juice. And once that's cooled for a little while, we're going to get our peaches ready. So we're going to cut these in half and pull the stone out. And we're lucky here. We've got these beautiful Ontario local peaches that are super freestone, so the pit just comes right out. And we're just going to slice these in quite thin slices. And it helps to have a really sharp knife for this. And then we're just going to spread those slices a little bit, which gives it a really nice look. And then we've got, like I said, a little bit of this beautiful fresh basil from our garden. You can typically get fresh herbs like fresh basil from your grocery store. I don't recommend using dry herbs on this one. You really want something fresh. So if you can't get your hands on fresh herbs, don't replace with dry. And then we're just going to start assembling. So we're going to put a little bit of the cheese mixture in the bottom here. And from there, we're going to add our peach. We're just going to toss one of those peach halves that we've sliced nicely. And it gives you that really great visual impact. A little bit of that fresh basil on top. And then once that's on there, we are just going to garnish that with a few of those beautiful blackberries. And all of those flavors work super well together. Basil and peach, for some reason, goes extremely well together. You can garnish with a little floret of basil if you want. And then on goes those beautiful local blackberries. And you could use raspberries for this as well. We had blackberries on hand. They're a little hardier than raspberries as well, so they're a little easier to handle. And that's it. Really, really simple. Absolutely delicious. Super fresh and refreshing after something like a heavy meal. You want something light at the end. So that fluffy, sort of slightly sour cheese with the maple syrup and the lemon juice, and that amazing fresh peach. Just perfect. This is the time of year to use fresh peaches as much as you can. If you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. We'd like to thank our patrons over on Patreon. I'll put a link for that in the description below as well. And remember to love your food.